Demi-Gorgon. Let's go have a snack.
Gonna stand there all day?
Not all day. It'll come here eventually.
I'm gonna go cut the grass.
Okay.
I love you. Try to come back with all my pieces.
Doubtful. Pinky out. Hello everyone, my name is Koren Wiskman and this release could not have come at a better time. The new Simon Says Stamp release has some awesome new products and I can't wait to share it with you. So my daughter, my oldest daughter, is a graduating senior this year, and no matter what happens, we are going to celebrate that. So I love this release and it's full of graduation goodies. It also has some special stamp sets that celebrate moms too, with upcoming Mother's Day. Don't want to brag or anything. So let's just do, what shall we start with? Stencils. The first stencil I see here is the Mum Mom Love stencil, and it is a 6x6 stencil that basically has Mum, Mom, and Love in the stencil. That's what you leave behind, as well as a vine that's kind of entrenched into the word. So that's really cute and great to add with your floral cards. You could make it really multi-dimensional by having the stenciled word and then flowers over top of it. I made a card for my mom, and it's I used purple because we like those colors. Purple power. We have Mom that is ink blended with several Distress Oxide inks. Then I put it in my splatter box and sprayed it with some shimmer spritz, and then used another product in the release for the sub-sentiment here. And I think it turned out really great, and it's super shiny, and I think my mom's gonna love it. The next stencil I see here is the Rose Trio, and it's just that. It's a 6x6 stencil with 3 roses and 3 leaves, and I do have I messed this one up. It happens, I know. So I still wanted to show you guys because I liked the card, but I also etched this line in the top here. I still think my mom would like it. So, but what I did was embossed the stencil into the paper, and then I ink blended, well actually I ink blended first and then embossed it, therefore that was the mistake. And then I used another product from the release, another die that I'm going to show you to do the sentiment. The next stencil in the release is from CZ Designs, and it's basically grad caps in a line. The next group of stencils, because this is actually 3 stencils in one. It's called the Graduation Celebration Layering Stencil, and I really liked this. It's 3 stencils. One is a balloon, one is confetti, and the other is graduation caps as if they were being thrown up in the air. And I used this quite a few times playing around. I embossed the back of this one. I'm not sure if the lights are gonna allow it to kind of show up for you, but I basically impressed it into the white background on this card. This one has this balloon stencil background, and I just love how this was ink blended. Next are some standalone dies in the release. The first I have here is the extra large Congrats, and it's a shadow die and the word congrats, and it's really big. It takes up an entire card front. Here is the size. This is an A2 size card, the gray here, and then this is the congrats word die, and that's significant, and I love it. All of these cards are in our school colors for my daughter's graduation. The next one is a standalone die from CZ Designs, and it's called Grad Hat Dies. And this one was really fun. I used this quite a few times. And it's basically like the background and then the pieces that you need to be able to pop it up. But I used this in this one that I just showed you. This was the Grad Hat die here. And I cut it from baby blue and then some gold foil. The next is also from CZ Designs, and it's called Mum Word / Shadow Dies. And it's basically that. It's a shadow die and the word mum that you pop up in front of it. This one is the Stylized Tulips, and it's an outline of a tulip that you can cut out just the outline, or you can use the negative pieces also to color your tulip. The next one is also from CZ Designs, and it's called Grad Word / Shadow Dies, and I did use this one, didn't I? I didn't. Next one is Outline Mama, and I did use this one in a sample. This is an outline of the word mama with a shadow behind it, and I was really just playing around with some of the sentiments in the release with this one, so it's not great. But I like it. It was fun to play with the cork. I did the cork as the shadow background, then some pattern paper to fill in the mama, and then the white outline. The next one was Mum, and you've seen this one here on the outline Mum that I did here with some pattern paper. I cut the background white with the outline of white and then the pattern paper on the inside. The next was also from CZ Designs, and it's Congrats Dies in the same special font, and here is one that shows that die. I cut the background shadow from a baby blue and then the darker navy in the word. The next one is 2020, and it's also an outline for your scrapbooking or for cards, for graduation cards. The next is these pre-made sentiments. We have them both for the moms out there and the grads out there. I have them both. I have loved these in the last few months. They just make things so much easier. I love embossing my sub-sentiments, but when you're trying to make something quick on the go, or when you're trying to make a whole lot of something, this is where it's at. If you have graduation anything to do this year, get these. This is gonna help you a lot. There's also the watercolor, I guess Susie's watercolor pages that we have in this release, and there is a ton of fabulous sentiments in here with floral images. Always my mother, forever my friend. Oh, I like this one with the tree and the house. That is just really cute. And some of them are very tropical that could transition us right into summer. Right into summer. There's also some sequins in this release. This one is Soft Sunrise, and it's basically some peach and yellow tones. There are also some clear iridescent sequins in there. The next one is April Showers, and it's a iridescent blue and mint green and silver. I think it's really pretty. I think this one's my favorite out of the two. The next product in the release is Tulip Background, and is a red rubber stamp background, a 6x6, I guess in size. Yep, 6x6 cling stamp. Tulip background, and it is just that beautiful bed of tulips that you can color or do whatever you want with. There are some stamp and die combinations in this release. There is the CZ Designs Grad Party and Grad Party Dies. This is basically a graduation stamp set that has all the things you need to make invitations or cards of congratulations or whatever your grad needs might be. I used this stamp set to make this card. I cut the outline of the grad cap from the sentiments. So I basically ruined some of my sentiments to make this card, but I really like how it turned out, so I'm glad I did it. And then I stamped another sentiment underneath of it, so it kind of looks like, I don't know, a texty silhouette, and then flaunt that tassel. I also used this stamp set here with the sentiment. I stamped the grad and that heat embossed it, and then stamped the sub-sentiment and the silhouette of the little tiny grad cap. There is another stamp set that you can purchase for the Word Mix 2 die, which is an awesome way to do sentiments these days. This one's called Mom Word Mix 2, and it has Happy Mother's Day, Mom, 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 Mum, and some other awesome sentiments here. I used 2 of them on this card just playing around. This one is probably my favorite of the release, and I haven't played with it today, so I think today's the day, is this one called Hats Off Grad, and it is arms up in the air that are throwing the grad caps and the coordinating dies. There's also some diplomas, which I'm not sure why they would want to throw their diplomas up in the air. You kind of want to hold on to those. This is called the Quintuple Slider, and this is going to be fun for all you interactive card makers out there. You can throw up your grad caps in a slider. You use this die to create 4 slider paths, and then you can easily slide your grad caps up in the air. That's really cool. There's also some larger stamp sets in the release. This one is called Luck and Hugs, and I just love the design of this stamp set and the good luck and the hugs stamps that are outlined but kind of overlapping each other. I'm really digging outline letters right now. That's, I don't know. It's a weird thing that I'm going through. It's a phase. The next 6x8 stamp set is called Spring Flowers 4, and I love the outline of these images, like the hand-drawn kind of whimsical look of these flowers. I'm not very familiar with flowers. I couldn't even tell you what flowers these are supposed to be representing, but I did make a card. I just thought maybe there were some more sophisticated grad parties out there, so I watercolored some greenery in the background and used the CZ Designs Grad Party stamp set for the sentiments. The last but certainly not least 6x8 stamp set is called A Mama's Love, and it does have coordinating dies available. This stamp set comes with some amazing sentiments and some images that are quite unique. You're actually looking at people from behind. So you're basically looking at the back of these kids and this mom and the silhouette of the pregnant woman. And those are really unique stamp sets. You don't see those everywhere. I hope you liked taking a look at the new Simon Says stamp release. Let's play with some Hats Off Grad and see what we can make. Don't forget that you can easily mix these thank you word dies with the graduation products from this release to make some thank you cards that I know I'm going to need as well. Right now, I'm just kind of looking around to see what I want to do with these stamps, and I decided that I was going to do a cloudy sky background. Okay, so they're going to be throwing their grad caps up in the air and all you see is clouds behind them. So you've seen me do this a gazillion trillion times before, but I'm using some Aspen Mist, chalk ink, and my Ranger blender brush to just stencil on some clouds. I'm also making sure to go around the edges of my card to kind of fill in some more blue, make it a little bit more sky than just clouds. I'm also going to grab a cloud edge die from my stash and run it through the machine. This panel is cut to 3.5 by 4 3/4, so that's what my little edge of clouds is also cut to. After I loaded my images in my Mini Misty, I grabbed my Simon Says stamp Intense Black ink to stamp them on all the white paper that I'm using is Nina 110, by the way. So I'm stamping the Intense Black ink, and then I'm going to do some Copic coloring. So come along with me. I am no Copic coloring expert, so if you want to skip this part, you go right ahead to 1815, okay? But I have got some upper C's, so C9, C7, C5. And when I do use these markers, I do kind of use every other marker to kind of get a good blend. And I don't have all the markers, so that's why I always tend to use the same colors for black, because these are the markers that I own. I don't have all of the C's. So this is not rocket science. I'm just starting with the darkest color in the darkest area of this arm, trying desperately to make it look like there has a little bit of fold in the fabric. But I'm not very good at that because I don't color people all that often. Like my mother told me all the time, practice makes perfect. So here are the arms that I'm practicing on today. I did also try to do a variation of skin tones. So I made a Copic color map for this. It'll be on my blog. But I basically took all the skin tone colors that I owned and just tried to do a variation on each hand of the arm so that I got a good mix of people graduating in this class. I can tell you that while I was coloring this image, those hands are quite small. So it's pretty hard to get really detailed coloring done with these. So when I go to color the hands, I start with very small amounts of color. I mean, like, I barely touch the brush nib to the paper, and I'm adding such small amounts of color to make sure that it looks a little there's a little bit of gradient in the color, that there's a little bit of shading, so it just doesn't look like, I guess I'm trying to say three-dimensional. I'm trying to make it look three-dimensional, but I'm not a trained colorist, so I'm doing the best that I can. When it comes to coloring, not just Copic coloring, but all coloring for me, I just have fun with it and try to do the best that I can and make it look cute, and that's it. Nobody's judging like whether this hand is colored properly. They're looking at your adorable card and fascinated that you made it by hand. I did color the grad caps black with a little gold tassel to match, and that was it. It wasn't very hard coloring. It wasn't very interesting coloring either, so I cut most of it out. You're welcome. So now I'm going to take the coordinating dies that are available with this stamp set and tape them down using my Thermoweb purple tape and run them through my die cutting machine so that they are cut out perfectly to be placed on my card. So now I'm going to take the CZ Designs Grad word die, and I'm going to cut the shadow out of black cardstock and the word die out of white cardstock and put those two together. I didn't layer these. I thought the contrast, the black and white contrast, was enough for this card. So I loved the Grad word die, but it needed something else to say. So I grabbed my VersaFine Claire Nocturne ink and that cloud, and the tassel is worth the hassle sub-sentiment. I just think that's fun to say. And after that, it's really time to put this sucker together. I grabbed a piece of black craft foam cut slightly smaller than my card panels are usually cut, and some tear tape adhesive. I want to pop up this cloud panel, and I did not know this, but I dripped a little bit of blood on my card panel because I poked myself with a die, and I didn't realize that I had gotten it on my card, but I did. So I had to mount the clouds upside down to make it easier for me to hide my blood stain. No worries, the tassel totally did the job, and I lived to make a card another day. I really like how the card turned out today. I love how the grad kind of tucks in with the tassel, was worth the hassle. Again, you can use that quadruple slider thing to make your hats move on your card. I hope I've inspired you to create something today, and until next time. Find Simon Says Stamp or find me on social media. I love interacting with you in the comments. Thank you so much for watching.